Welcome to the week number 8 Friday Game Night Pickup Show. Yes, we made it through week 7. Praise the Lord. Welcome to the show, folks, and welcome to this glorious crew today.
Isn't somebody playing today, I think? Week 7's not 100% over yet.
Yeah, we got a game tonight.
There's a game tonight early? Wow, I'm not shocked.
Jeff fell for it.
I did. Well, hey, anything is possible after last week. I don't even, that messed up my whole this week. So I don't know, are we really on this week finally?
Yes, Jeff, we are on this week, finally.
Excellent.
It ended on Monday, and week 8 started on Tuesday.
Okay.
Officially, I guess you could say.
I understand that.
Well, first off, thoughts and prayers continue to be with all the people there in South Georgia, Western North Carolina. That flooding there is just
awful.
I heard somebody use the phrase biblical this week, and they're not wrong. It is unbelievable.
How about that Chimney Rock town completely wiped off the map?
I saw one video with a house.
That was incredible.
I saw one video with a house floating through water like it was just a raft in a river.
You saw a photo on one of those weather Facebook pages of 1916 historic flood. It's in North Carolina. It's right there at the Biltmore State area.
Yeah.
On the ground. You know how they do the historical signs?
Right. On
the ground, and you can see the flooding, and it's like, okay, history does repeat itself.
Yeah. It's weather, and none of us can predict it. It was all I can say is just thank goodness it took a slight turn.
I was going to say
at North Georgia, or that could have been us.
I was about to say when you look at it, that storm made landfall exactly where it was projected to, and then after it made landfall, it just for some reason just went like 70 miles east out of nowhere. And that's basically the reason what you saw there was the hills of western North Carolina and not the hills of northeast Georgia.
Right.
I got to tell you, it was pretty fun watching down in Destin last week, watching kids try to surf, out in the water. And, of course, obviously we were on the west side of the storm. But the water was churning, and it was everybody was out. I say everybody. There were probably about 20 people in front of where we were. Trying to surf, and it was kind of interesting to watch.
How did it go?
Some of them did pretty good. And one guy was out in the water. He just sat on his surfboard waiting. Finally, we left and went to go eat, and then we come back.
Is he still there?
It was double red flag when we came back, so they got everybody out of the water. So surfing was over with. But Walker, did you get any of that rain up in Norfolk, Virginia?
Yeah, we got one of the bands. I guess it was probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Friday afternoon. I'll tell you, football field on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. setting up for homecoming, mud just everywhere. But ultimately, we got pretty lucky as opposed to, my in-laws in Augusta. Their entire neighborhood. I mean, just a lot of damage to other houses. Luckily, theirs was. For the most part, pretty good. But, we talk about Western North Carolina. I mean, our friends down in Augusta, they're still without power. I think like 50% of Richmond and Columbia County still without power right now. So
I talked
definitely thoughts and prayers down there.
I talked to my dad yesterday down in Brunswick, and he's without power still. He said it's been a week, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? And he goes, we've just eaten everything that we have in the refrigerator already. So
I'll say
that's pretty much about it. I don't know.
There are a lot of organizations across Northeast Georgia that are taking donations for items. You need to participate in that if you can, because those people need all the help that they can get right now. By the way, you were talking about the field up conditions there, Walker. Did anybody see the photo and video of Westminster's field?
That was incredible.
In Atlanta, where Nancy Creek just basically became Lake Westminster.
Did they play?
I don't think so.
Did we ever find out? I know that there was in our text thread we were talking about, is that a natural grass field or is that turf? Did we ever officially find that out?
I'm not sure.
I think it's
grass. I think it's grass.
I think it's grass.
I
haven't been to that.
If it's grass, they may not play on that field until 2026.
Yeah, that was pretty.
It's
the Braves played on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, the water was up to the crossbar, and I was thinking this is going to affect the passing game for sure.
It'd be like water football.
It might affect the running game.
The passing game will be affected.
Let's see if we can find a picture.
Is that a running game or is that a floating game at that point?
It's more of a swim meet, right?
Like a water polo. Yeah.
How do you tackle somebody?
Water polo football, but in canoes.
You take the coin flip. Which side of the field? I want the one where the water's flowing That I want to go downstream, not upstream.
Not upstream.
Hey, but guys, Kayla mentioned a while ago there are several people that are taking up donations. I think Siphon Logistics.
Siphon Logistics, Northeast Georgia Food Bank. There are several. I think the Jackson County Sheriff's Office was doing something too.
We've got the information on the website, so go to accesswdun.com. You can check out if you want to donate something. I know they're in desperate need of bottled water at this moment and canned goods, so they're looking to take that stuff up and down to Western North Carolina and down to South Georgia. So if you want to help and if you can help, please do so, and you can find that out. All right, week 7, guys. I know it was in lingo there for a little bit. We didn't know if it was going to happen. We knew that Friday was probably not going to happen pretty much early on. About Wednesday, Gainesville moved their game to Wednesday. Then schools were talking about Thursday. Friday, what they were going to do, and then there was conversation about canceling school Thursday and Friday, and then we kind of thought we saw it moving in that direction. Thankfully, we did get a lot of games finished on Saturday. Gainesville played on Wednesday. White County and Lumpkin and Union County played on Monday to finally wrap up week 7. But any surprises to you week number 7?
First things first, did you say in lingo when you meant in limbo?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just making sure. I didn't know if you're making up.
Thanks for
terms
fact
over there.
checking me there,
You're
NBC.
super welcome.
Appreciate you.
You should have cut it. But the question was that correct? Did you have to have should your mic have been cut first?
Yeah, you should have cut
before
me.
you fact check.
Anyway, any surprises from week 7? It's a limbo.
Here's the biggest one for me, guys. Dawson County giving GAC a run for their money on Saturday. Now, I know that
What's up with that?
it's Saturday morning and everything like that, but Dawson playing some different players at different positions, and we're right in the game with GAC. Does that make the GAC North Hall game a little bit more interesting in 2 weeks? I don't know. But I
think it's going to be interesting.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, even more interesting. But then
Right.
the second part of my question was, does that put Dawson County maybe in the mix for the 4th seed?
Could be. I go back to that Lumpkin County game because that's where Nolan Matthews gets hurt, and he's not able to play. They get shut out in the second half. Nolan Matthews plays that game. They beat GAC. So we wouldn't really be talking about will
But
we be
here's
that
the
surprised.
question.
I think GAC is vulnerable this year.
The question on that one is we've talked about Nolan Matthews getting hurt in that game, but we also don't talk about exactly what happened with GAC's passing game in that game. But then you go and you look at what Dawson did, whose roster is not as solid or as good as Lumpkin County's roster, and they play them, what was it, 20-16, 21-16?
21-16.
And I think then they have the ball late.
I think
with
it
a
just
chance to win the game.
I think it just shows you there's a pretty good amount of parity in that region.
Well, and then Walker brought up early on, and I think we kind of just said it and moved on, but I think there's a lot that goes into a game on a Saturday where you're not going to draw a big crowd. It's players' body schedules are completely different at 11 in the morning than they are at 7 p.m. I just think the environment is very sterile, and it makes for a lot higher potential for upsets and for teams that are big underdogs to stick around. I mean, we saw that result. We saw Flowery Branch have a late lead against East Forsyth, who went in as a heavy favorite in that game. East Hall took Monroe area down to the absolute wire. So we had several near upsets on Friday night, and I do wonder how many of them are attributable to the fact that if you're a big favorite, all of a sudden you get a sterile environment where there's no real energy, there's no real it's not a normal game, and I wonder how much that factored into it.
Well, let's go back to that East Hall game, 42-0, Monroe area, and East Hall comes back. Did they ever take the lead in that game?
I don't think. No.
It was, a 6-point loss,
It was
though?
48-42. East Hall had recovered an onside kick. They got down.
43 or something like that.
It was 48-42, I'm pretty sure, and East Hall recovered an onside kick, got down to the Monroe area 30, and just ran out of time. And almost pulled off the upset there. I don't think it was 42-0. I think it was like 42-14 or 42-21 or something like that.
Regardless, it was a massive comeback by East Hall, which, by the way, East Hall's offense is ranked in the top 10 in Class 3A. It's just our defense is probably ranked, really low.
Well, I think their defense, when you look at the numbers and how we've talked about them this year and the games that they've been in, I think because they do have a high-powered offense, they're going to score quick. defense is going to get more chances to be out in the field, which means you might give up more. Their defense has played a lot better this year.
Yeah.
I think just top to bottom, they're in games this year as opposed to being, out of the game at halftime. I definitely think East Hall is still right in the mix in all this. They're going to have to pull an upset. They're going to have to get some help at this point. But I think they're in the mix. I think if there was a surprise for me, maybe West Hall. Because we thought that had intrigue in that. Jefferson coming off the blowout loss, really. To North Oconee. You've got 3A's leading rusher in Elijah Hayes. And, if you're able to establish a little bit of a running game, you can shorten that game and give yourself a shot. And, Jefferson just came out and absolutely just dominated that game. It was, 28-0 in that first quarter? That was a surprise to me because I think we all thought that, I think we all picked Jefferson, but we thought West Hall had a shot in that game. And it just, I don't know what happened in that game. Is that the real Jefferson? Where's the real Jefferson?
I would say probably what happened was Keelan Butler, Red Hemphill, Jaden Yang, Max Brown. I mean, that defensive front and that front seven of theirs, or 8, is pretty good. I mean, you look at what they've done and how many tackles they have combined.
So is the North Oconee game, is that the outlier?
North Oconee, they're just really good.
Well, they are,
and
35-0 over Jefferson, I don't think
insane.
I think if they played 10 more times, I don't think there would be another 35-0 result in that. But I do think that was a little bit of an anomaly, but I don't think it was because North Oconee's not that good. I just don't think Jefferson played their best game that day. And I don't know that North Oconee's not – I mean, I think they probably are better than Jefferson, but I don't think it's by 35 points.
Right.
Walker, let's talk about the 1,200-yard offensive game Winder Barrow Hab Central. I mean, absolutely insane. I think Hab Central may have set a single game yard record, total offense record in that game.
I don't think
and
so.
Lost.
I don't know. Some of those Kevin Ellison offenses back in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
They put up some numbers that were they scored 50-something points in a playoff game and lost one time.
That's crazy.
So I think they might have that, but yeah, what Habersham's offense did Friday was insane.
Yeah.
And so was Winder's.
Yeah, it's crazy insane.
And then I want to just make sure we talk about this. Camden Kendrick at Union County.
Oh, boy.
That guy looks like he's going to be a star
if
in
he's
Blairsville
not, if
for
he's
a
not,
long time.
If he's not already, I mean, first 2 weeks we thought, wow, this is going to be a long season for Union. And look what they've done in the last 4 weeks. And I think they would love to get Rockmart now. Instead of when they got Rockmart.
I think they get Rockmart this week.
No,
Right?
they have
Ringgold.
They have Ringgold.
Ringgold.
They have Ringgold.
Okay,
They've already
Ringgold,
played
that's
Rock.
right,
What I'm saying is, I think they would, if they could move that Rockmart game to the end of the season, now that Camden Kendrick has gotten going in that offense, I think they'd like to.
Don't forget about Connor Shutnick as well, 200 yards rushing.
I definitely think that's a team nobody really is going to want to play down the stretch and in the playoffs because I feel like that game last week might have gotten them. I'm not going to say they're assured, but they should be the favorite in every game except for this week.
Well, and
maybe North Comp Christian.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Cade Dockery's a junior, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I thought he's a junior. And so, can you imagine next year
put him back in defense?
You can put Kendrick and Dockery both on the field at the same time, and having to prepare for a lot of crazy things up in Blairsville. I think that Union County team, like I wrote in 5 things, I think they're a contender moving forward. Maybe not this year, but you have to consider them a favorite, in the next 2-3 years in the region that they're in.
I would think so. I think Dockery was an all-region player in 8-2A as a defender. So you could almost move him back to defense if he has another year left. I'd have to go check and see.
Well, guys, coming up on today's show, we're going to talk to, none other than the legendary, and I say legendary because he loves that word, legendary Gene Durden's going to be our guest speaker, legendary Beaufort Girls head basketball coach. So great to get him Jeff, good job on that one.
We have never had more state championships on this show than we will have when Gene Durden is on the show.
That is correct.
Unless we get Tony Wolf, maybe.
Yeah.
But that might be about the only one that could rival him. But, no, I tell you, I worked hard. I sent a text. He said yes. That was it. Yeah. I was exhausted after that, and I had to take the rest of the day.
Caleb, I've got to give a massive tip of the hat to you. Undefeated last week, 15-0, first one this season.
Idea.
And your performance has pushed you to the top of the standings. You are now one game ahead of the guest picker. And Chuck Graham last week finished 13-2. Walker, you were 14-1. Seth and Jeff both 14-1. And yes, I'm in the basement at 12-3. So there you have it, folks. Is maybe I can turn around at some point.
The basement at 12-3. Can we talk about how good we are? Like our basement is 12-3. Come on.
All right,
We're
let's
So
not,
good.
We're killing it.
So
let's not
good.
get ahead of ourselves, Caleb.
White County.
Let's not.
I picked White County. That was a loss for me. And for some reason, I picked West Hall, so that was a loss for me. And I have one more. I don't know what it was, but those two just kind of.
You say we're so good, Caleb.
I tell you
I'm
why you picked West
looking
Hall. 'Cause
ahead
you're
to
staring
Dark
Chuck
Horse
Graham in the
Dogs.
face. That's why you picked West Hall.
Go ahead, Walker.
I'm looking ahead to Dark Horse Dogs. Only one person won this week. Now my game gets pushed because I had the Cherokee Bluff game, but everybody else lost their their Dark Horse Dog pretty handily.
I haven't won that in about 6 weeks.
Well, you covered, Caleb. You covered.
I covered? Okay, good.
Look, it's a lot hard. I mean, I think early on, I just happened to get lucky and pick a couple of good upset winners. I don't think I've won in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Well,
it's a lot harder than it looks.
Here's the thing, too, is that when you start the season, Maxwell lines are largely based on historical performances. They're not really reflections of what the teams are bringing in this year. And so you can get some bad Maxwell lines early in the year, but once you get over a month into the season, the Maxwell lines,
pretty good.
They start getting more and more accurate as the season goes on. And now they're starting to get really good.
And they're much tougher.
There's some tough lines this week.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the Dark Horse Dog, it's a lot harder than it looks.
Jeff, you're still leading, by the way, 53 points for you.
Yeah, but you guys are you're creeping up on me.
Well, not really.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm the closest with 20.
Well, at least
I'm 30 points behind you.
Yeah, but at least all of y'all are now in double digits. Some of y'all are in single digits there, so that wasn't very good.
You got lucky early on.
That's what I'm saying. I did, and I'm going to take it. Better be lucky than good.
All right, let's roll to our conversation games today, and we're going to start right with Class 6A. This matchup, Collins Hill at Buford. The Eagles coming into this game, their best start to the season since their 2021 state championship season. This is an interesting game from the standpoint of region standings because, after this game's finished, the winner obviously is still going to be at the top of the region standings. But, Walker, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, Mill Creek's still looming for both of these teams after this. But I think for Buford, they have to continue doing what they have been doing for the past, 3-4 weeks we've been talking about. This is more like the Buford of old, a physical team up front that likes to run the football and is very successful in the play-action game. That's what they've been able to do with Dayton Rayola at quarterback and the host of running backs that they have in the backfield. Can they do it against Collins Hill's front seven, Jeff? I'm not sure because Collins Hill's got a mean front seven. I think what was it that you wrote? They've got
the
how many
tackles
points per
for
game
loss
is Collins Hill giving up per game? I'm trying to look at your cap.
That's what I'm looking. Also,
I think it's like 12.
Yeah, I think they're giving.
Yeah, it's not many. So. Can the front seven of Collins Hill slow down the running game? Can Buford get a running game going, Jeff? I think that's the biggest key.
Go to the tackles for loss and the sacks this front seven has.
Yeah, are you talking about?
Is this an early Jeff Hart stat of the show?
Is it Deuce?
Yeah, Deuce Gerald's.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that guy's a handful. I mean, I think they're 55 tackles for loss, 26 sacks, 56 QB hurries. They forced 11 turnovers. Gerald's has 36 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 22 QB hurries by himself. So
is this your stat?
No.
Is this it?
No, that he would just wanted to know what it was in there. So that's what was in there. That's not the stat of the show. I think, but they haven't played the schedule Buford has. They haven't played a Milton. They haven't played a Benedictine. They haven't played a Douglas County. I'm not saying it's smoke and mirrors, but they've racked up a lot of wins. They're undefeated. They're ranked, but their schedule isn't nearly as difficult. I think the key on this, as I put it, it's going to be the Buford offense. Like you said, I know that's where you were mentioning, but their run game has really gotten going. I think they're going to run the ball And Collins Hill is not really scoring that much. They're not going to get much against that Buford defense. So I really think if Buford can punch in a couple of touchdowns, they probably win this game going away.
Well, but Caleb, we talk about that defensive lineman. Like Buford likes to run off tackle. That's kind of where their success is. A defensive end that has what was it, 36 tackles and 12 tackles for loss. He gets into the backfield so well. The play action game might be tough for Buford to get going. Not to say that Jeff's wrong, because I think if Buford is able to punch it in a couple of times, Collins Hill's not going to be able to put up enough points. But if you're able to allow Deuce Geralds to get going, this could be a lot closer.
Where we've seen Buford struggle in the games they've lost in Class 6A, it is, 7A and now 6A, it's largely been teams that have outstanding front sevens. Buford's offensive line has really kind of struggled against those truly elite front sevens. And, you go back to, I keep going back to their loss to Grayson last year, where that was just offensive line just gave Dylan Raiola no time to throw the ball, could not establish a running game, and ultimately it caught up to him and they lost the game. But this is a huge game because you talked about Mill Creek looming. Whoever wins this game, you kind of have to put as the front runner in the region at this point, given that you've got 3 front runners in the region with Buford, Mill Creek, and Collins Hill, and having one of these actually win the matchup kind of puts them in the driver's seat.
I would have totally agree with that, and I think both y'all's analysis is exactly right when you look at the games that Buford has lost. But I don't think Buford could run the ball last year nearly as well as they're establishing a run here in the last month or so of this season. I think they were trying to be, more of a passing team with Dylan Raiola. I think they kind of wanted to go that route with Dayton Raiola, his brother. And I just don't know if that's really their makeup. So to me, they've kind of gone back to the style of offense that makes them what they are. And they've been very successful. And I think if they just come out and play Buford football the way, I know we've said that, countless years, I think that's going to be the winning formula. I think they can neutralize Gerald's, either running away from him or running right at him, double teaming him. I think this is a good matchup for Buford. I really do.
Look, you could take this one of two ways in this matchup. And you can either say, okay, offense is going to be the key, or you can say this is just going to be a slugfest in the trenches. And I think that's exactly what this game's going to be. You're going to see it up front. You can see the game won up front, in my opinion, because that front seven of Collins Hill, I don't care who they've played. If you want to say, okay, let's match schedules to schedules, this defense is very good. And you talk about Deuce Geralds, and you go down their stats, their defensive stats, and you see tackles for losses in their top 6 guys, I think it is. And then you go down to sacks, and you see, 8 sacks, 6 sacks. So this defense gets after it. We've seen Buford struggle a little bit offensively, and they're probably they seem to be still trying to find footing, maybe the identity of that offense, although we say it is Buford football and they're running the football. But, Walker, this game right here, in my opinion, is going to be won in the trenches.
Yeah, that's got to be where Buford continues to find their success. We say Buford football. It's what Buford football has been, and that's what made them successful for year in, year out, winning state championships left, right, and over. They ran the football and were more physical than everybody else. Mm-hmm. They have to be more physical than Collins Hill's front seven Friday night. Otherwise, Collins Hill's going to stay in the game, and you give anybody a chance on Friday night, crazy things can happen.
Well, I agree with that, but I'm going to go, having seen them against Milton, who was a 7A state champ last year, I think they're probably still the favorite to win 6A. Buford's defense is good enough to hold down that offense. I don't know if Collins Hill's offense is anywhere near as good as Milton. Buford's offense is probably better now than they were in that opening game.
I would agree.
So
Agreed.
I really feel, and I agree, it's going to be one in the trenches, but I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on that Collins Hill defense to somehow slow them down, because I really just don't see that Collins Hill offense getting a whole lot against the Buford defense. So I think the Buford's offense can kind of go in somewhat relaxed, knowing, hey, we need to just establish ourselves some first downs. Our defense is going to take care of the job, and if we can get 1 or 2 touchdowns early, I think they can. I really feel this is a really, really good matchup for
this is going to be a fun matchup. I think you've got that one right, Jeff. Yeah. So
Is that where you're sending me?
I
Have we
think so. I
decided?
think that's where you're going. But
Nice.
yeah, going to be a great matchup. Speaking of a great matchup, guys, wow, woo boy, Rabun County at Commerce, and you look at these two programs right now. Ty True Love, we know that he's still nursing his injury. But Reed Giles has decided to take over things with a rushing attack. So Rabun's rushing attack has basically been reborn through Reed Giles. And I know they've rushed the ball well in the past, but that is the calling card right now for Rabun County. On the flip side, Caleb, you've got Commerce, who has Jaden Daniels, their leading rusher for the last 3 years, in at the quarterback spot, along with Tyshawn Wiggins and Jakari Huff making that triple-headed monster. We know what happened last year in this meeting. It was an overtime win for Commerce. This game, it's important to both, but I think it might be just a little bit more important for Commerce because they already have that one stinging loss to Athens Academy.
Yeah, and I think, to me, Ty True Love's health is so key in this game. And the reason for that is I think Commerce has kind of got things figured out right now. I think Commerce right now is playing the best football they've played all season. And you go into their place, you put up 50 points on Providence Christian, but Commerce is not Providence Christian. And I understand that Reed Giles has been pretty successful in the running game. But if you are Rabun County, I think you need Ty True Love back. I think you need to be multidimensional to be able to beat Commerce at their place. And it's not just Walker about can Ty True Love get back and play. Yeah. If he gets back and plays, how good is he? Like, how effective is he back on the field? That, to me, that's a big question mark that's hovering over this game.
Well, when I did the preview story in the magazine for Rabun County, the big key or the big message that kept being brought up was we're going to run the football, Rabun County. Yeah. We're going to become a running team. We're going to be different than what fans have seen in Tiger over the past few years because that's where our strength is. We have a very good offensive line, got very good running backs, and then Ty True Love, things will open for him when the running game gets going. Now that Ty True Love is questionable in the backfield week to week, as it's been told to us multiple times, that running game's really starting to become their calling card, which is what was anticipated going into the season. The running game is going to be the strength of this team. Can Rabun County get it going against the front seven of Commerce? That's a question mark. But I think the bigger key, I know we talk about Jaden Daniels at quarterback. I think Jakari Huff is really starting to come alive. What did he have, like 3 touchdowns this past week or 2 touchdowns and close to 200 rushing yards or something like that in their game Saturday in the against Elbert County, supposed to be in the Granite Bowl. I think Jakari Huff getting going early is going to be the key to allow Jaden Daniels and Tyshawn Wiggins, Jeff, to get going.
Seth, this would be a great spot for our stat of the show.
Here's some things you need to know.
It's Jeff Hart's interesting stat of the show.
I love that. I love that ending.
We need to make also a little graphic for when Jeff goes to another stat look like he did earlier that's not the stat of the show. We need a Jeff Hart's other stat of the show that we can go to.
I'm all for that. Look,
just set it up.
I think as much promotion as I can get,
I'll get right on that. I'll get right on that. Should it just be like a party hat and it just say Jeff's extra stat and then come back out?
Or just put the party hat on his head.
Yes.
Or
we can do that.
I think if you have the Jeff Hart stat of the show.
Just so you guys know, we are live, and doing that stuff in post is way easier than doing it right now.
That's true. I'm thinking
it would be easier for me to go to Party City, buy a party hat, and then just walk around camera and put it on.
You know what?
head.
You can give me that party hat, and I would just
we
go.
should just do that. We'll just.
I think if we had Jeff Hart stat of the show logo, and then if we could literally just put like a wooden, like a leaning wooden sign over it that was painted on other Jeff Hart other stat of the show.
That'd work. That would work.
Money or cake. That's
or maybe
we
do that thing, Caleb, like you did with Walker's stat of the show. Where it's Jeff Hart's other stat of the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
I forgot what it is.
Was that Caleb that did that jingle?
Now for Jeff Hart's real stat of the show.
But I forgot what it was after all that. I don't know.
Surprising.
Not surprising. No, it's
Jeff Hart's
thank you.
interesting stat of the
Thank
show.
I think the key of this right here is the
I like when you do that, Bo.
the Rabun
like
County. You mentioned the Commerce front seven. I think Rabun County's front seven. This is where the game is won or lost against that offensive line. Look, they haven't given up more than 28 in a game, and since Jaden Daniels has taken over, the Commerce offense has exploded. So something's going to have to give there. They've got 40 tackles for loss, and here's the key number, 12 turnovers, including they forced and recovered 10 fumbles already this year as a Raven County defense. So they know how to get hat on ball. They lost this game last year at Tiger Stadium on a fumble in overtime as they were trying to punch it in. And I think they were going to go for 2 and go for the win. So, that's where this game, if they can bottle up that offense, I think regardless if they have Ty Truelove or not, because I think they've won 4 straight trying to piece together their offense at the moment, they know how to win without Ty Truelove right now. So if that defense can force some turnovers against that Commerce offense, I think that's where the game's won or lost.
Well, let's talk about the importance in the region standings for this game. As we said, Commerce already has 1 loss in the region standings. Athens Academy and Raven County play in 2 weeks, I believe. So, if Commerce wins this game, they stay in second place, right? If Commerce loses this game, they drop out of second place.
I don't think they can. I don't see how they can finish higher than third at that point.
So if Commerce wins the game, then they're Raven County's biggest fan in 2 weeks, so they can get that 3-way tie at the top of the standings.
That's correct. Well, and you never know. Somebody maybe I don't know who.
I don't know.
Athens Academy just awfully tough right now, and Commerce had that game won. I mean, and that's the thing. I think this Commerce team you mentioned, Walker, they've really, since Jaden Daniels has taken over at quarterback, which initially we all thought, well, that is extremely interesting because he's been so dynamic in that tailback position, and now he's having to make decisions and reads and give up the ball more often than he's keeping it. But when you look at what he's done, he's mixed in some passes. When he's running, he's averaging about 8 or 9 yards a carry from that quarterback spot. So I got to wonder, does he keep the ball a little bit extra this week? But it's going to depend on what he sees the defense gives him.
And, Bo, you talk about the region standings. I mean, I know it's different in Division I of Class Single A, but top 2 seed guarantees you a home spot.
That's right.
In the first round. So for Commerce, hanging on to that 2 spot, very big. For Raven County, trying to get to that 2 spot, extremely big. And Athens Academy is going to go to the private bracket, so that leaves one of the top 8 spots open from them dropping out. So the number 2 seed in this region could end up being a top 8 seed overall, depending on how everything comes out.
That was what I was going to go to, is that both of these teams are in pretty good position in the power ratings right now with a lot of room to climb. And so getting the 2 seed, like you said, could put the 2 seed in Region 8 1A Division 1 in position to actually get a 1 seed in the 1A D1
But are
bracket.
they in that big? If I remember correctly, Bo, in your story,
there's a lot of
there's like 17 and 20. There's a lot of teams in front of them in the power rankings.
But there's a lot of open spots, I believe, in Class A Division 1 as far as private schools go. So that could be the case.
They could still. There's still a chance to move up.
There's still a chance. All right, guys. Speaking of wanting to move up, Lakeview at Bethlehem Christian, a huge game over in Gia.
Lakeview making the conversation games.
Making the conversation. Wow. Lakeview playing basically for a region championship against Bethlehem Christian. Walker.
Yeah, and Kiari Birch is the key. You can talk about the Lakeview defense needing to slow down Bethlehem's offense. You can talk about Bethlehem's offense or Bethlehem's defense trying to slow down Kiari Birch. I think the biggest key is just Kiari Birch getting going. If Kiari Birch is able to get the ball through the air, make plays with his feet, Lakeview's got every chance to win this game on the road and basically win the region championship. But if Bethlehem has an answer for Kiari Birch, Jeff, it could be the long night for the Lions.
It could be, and I think I did a feature story. It's up on the website today on this particular game. You've got both teams are just scoring at will. Lakeview's number 1 in the GIA in offense, I believe. Bethlehem is number 2, right behind them.
How much are they scoring?
About 37 a game.
There's the stat of the show.
You asked, I answered.
We appear to have a used coffee cup over there we could maybe use.
You know what? I will not answer
completely
any more
used
questions.
yet. I'll finish it, and then we can definitely put it on his head.
I will answer no more questions.
It's white, too, so we can just write dunts on it.
Look, that Bethlehem defense, and we don't really know how good they are because they haven't played as good a schedule as Lakeview. They haven't given up a point since August. August. Have 4 straight shutouts coming into this game. They've only given up 34 points. Something's got to give. I mean, and I see Lakeview scoring, Caleb. I really do. You mentioned Kiari Birch. If they're able to score on this defense, I think that's just going to open up the confidence of this game, Capel.
Bethlehem Christian has really kind of become a monster amongst the small private schools in this part of the state. And so, to me, this is a great test for Lakeview from the standpoint, to me, of line of scrimmage play. Because you would have to probably assume Bethlehem Christian's got the advantage in that department coming in. But if Lakeview is able to hold up somewhat on that front, then I have to imagine Kiari Birch is going to have a lot of opportunities to just go into full takeover mode. There's not going to be a football player on the field outside of maybe Zeke Clanton still at Bethlehem Christian.
He is. He's got almost 1,000 yards already rushing.
I mean, outside of Zeke Clanton, that, by the way, that's a matchup we haven't talked about enough. Kiari Birch against Zeke Clanton. Like, talk about the firepower potential that you've got there. But I want to see, can Lakeview play well enough up front to allow Kiari Birch the opportunity to take the game over?
Well, Bo, I'd like to address that with you because I asked you, Walker, remember we talked about the GW game and you went and looked at the number of players, 45 compared to 21. It's almost a carbon copy in this game that Bethlehem – it's got over 40, close to 50 players, and Lakeview still got the 21, 23, whatever it is. Does that matter? Because, Lee Coleman constantly says it's about the 11 on the field. Does that matter?
Well, yeah, it is about the 11 on the field, but how does GW's roster stack up to Bethlehem Christian's roster? You can have 40 kids on the roster, and you can have 20 kids on the other roster, but how good are those kids? But I think what we've seen out of Lakeview, and I think they proved it against George Walton a few weeks ago, is that they can take a lead, they can lose the lead, but then they can rally back to the lead and hold on to get the win like they did against George Walton a couple weeks or 3 weeks ago, for how long it was. So the thing about this Lakeview team to me, tip of the hat to Lee Coleman, his coaching staff, and what they've been able to do in a very quick time over at Lakeview. But the thing is the fight that they have shown this season. And now they went up against George Walton, and a lot of folks, are like, well, I don't know if they can beat him. Well, they beat him. So now they're going up the next monster in this region of theirs, or district, whatever they call it. So I see the fight that Lakeview is going to give. The question is do they have enough fight to get past a team like Bethlehem Christian?
I want to bring up 2 things really quick. One, very, very good for Lakeview that they got a bye week, and then Riverside – I know Riverside's struggling a lot right now, and let's just call it what it was. That was an easy game for Lakeview. So they got a bye week and then an easy game to go into the – when they played George Walton, I think a lot of the reason they kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter was because, guys, that was their 5th straight game. And then you play a larger school. Now you've gotten a week to rest up, plus a game where they were probably able to rest some starters in the second half. And I think they're going to be in a much better position. The other thing, too, to remember – this is a good barometer game for Lakeview because they're in 3A in the GIAA. Bethlehem Christian's in 4A. The GIAA, because they don't have as many schools, they lump 3A and 4A together for their district. So you're playing for a district championship that consists of 3A and 4A schools. But when you go to the state playoffs in the GIAA for Lakeview, you're not going to play Bethlehem Christian. You're going to play other 3A schools. So you're playing a higher classification school here if you're Lakeview Academy, and I think this is a really good test for them, and I'm really interested to see how competitive they can be, and like I said, can they give Kiari Birch a chance to go win the game for them?
Lee Coleman said one thing I thought was really interesting when we talked about this because no one scored on Bethlehem in over a month, and he goes, if we can get that first touchdown, it shows our guys we can score. He goes, but more importantly, what's going to happen on the other side of the field when all of a sudden they realize, whoa,
great point.
We're not, this isn't going to be a cakewalk. And that's going to be really interesting to see how Bethlehem responds if Lakeview is able to get a quick score in this game. Walker?
So the question is, if you win the coin toss, does Lakeview take the football?
I take the ball.
Because
I knew that was coming.
I
knew that was coming.
I take the ball. I mean, I'm just one of these that I like to put pressure on the other team. And if I feel like that I can get in their head a little bit and get them on their heels, why not take the ball?
Okay, well, here's where I would say take the ball is if what is Lakeview's from a coaching staff? This is a question for them. This is a rhetorical question. I'm obviously not going to ask them to answer it, but how confident internally do they feel like they can stop Zeke Clanton? Because if they don't feel like they can, I don't want to give Bethlehem an early shot of momentum if they're just going to go down the field on me. I want a chance to take that first bit of momentum. If I feel like I'm going to have to be in a dogfight all night where I'm going to struggle to stop this guy, then I don't want to give him the ball to start the game off with.
Yeah.
So another reason, DeBoe, take the ball. Take the ball.
And speaking of taking the ball, we've got to take the ball and go to the sidelines at this moment. Got to take a break as we're going to welcome our guest picker into the show coming up after. It's the legendary Gene Durden. He'll be on the show with us coming up here next as the Friday Game Night Pickem Show number 8 continues after this. Back to the show, and we welcome into the show, as you can see him on the screen, Coach Gene Durden. Coach, man, finally we're able to get you on the Pickem Show. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Listen, what an honor to be on with this crew. Golly, I'm telling you, I am just, I'm excited as I can be now. We're having some freezing problems. I don't know about video, a picture being up there, but you know what? I had a face made for radio anyway, so you know what? It ain't gonna be long.
So do we all here.
Yeah.
Coach, no worries about that. Hey, Coach, how's your off season been going?
As usual, busy. Just trying to keep all the cats herded and going in the right direction. And as we all know, it's a lot more challenging nowadays, but we're doing the best we can.
Well, Coach, what can we expect? I know Ava has moved on, so what's your group going to look like a little bit this year?
Well, I'm hoping we will do what we've done for years and years, be successful. We're going to try to play hard and have a fast-paced situation offensively and defensively. And you know what? You can't replace Ava Grace Watson, but you know what? Life moves on, and here we go. And now it's time for some other kids to step up. We're really excited about seeing what we can do with this team.
Coach, I'm sure there's another great one coming. I'm sure it's coming sometime. There have been too many of them over the years. I'm sure there's another one coming.
I don't know if I can last long enough to see them coming down the line. I've got to knot it into the rope right now. I'm trying to hang on for dear life.
Ava's 4 years went really fast, it seemed like. I mean, that just flew by. Is time moving as fast for you as it is for us when we watch your teams?
Oh, listen, I tell you what, I used to laugh at my mother when I was younger. She'd say, you know, as you get older, time flies by quicker. And I'm like, yeah, right. You know, time is time. But, you know, we're all so busy now, especially you get later in life. It moves on so fast. And, you know, one of the greatest things about coaching, in my opinion, is watching these kids grow up and everything else. I remember Ava being a little squirrel running around. And you know, I talked to her the other day, and she's doing great at Ohio State and really proud of her. And, you know, the best compliment we can get is just a coach. You know, y'all prepare so much. Some of these kids come in, they don't have a clue, and I'm college ready, so you know, I'm a lot to be proud of.
We see your team alumni all over the ESPN and other TV things. What are you doing to prepare these ladies for their life after basketball?
Well, I'm so proud of them. You know, I've been proud of them on the court, but so many of them are accomplishing great things off the court. You know, you can't say enough about Andrea Carter. Let me tell you the best thing about Andrea. April, my birthday's in April, and the day before my birthday, I get a text. Pretty much, I'm coming to see you, Coach. Get ready. And so, you know, it comes the next day, this little car comes wheeling in here. You know, you're thinking Andrea, thinking she is now. She's in some type of Tesla or something like that. She's still in a broken down Mazda. She comes in there, runs out, her hair's down. You know, it ain't like it is. And then runs up, jumps up, hugs me and all. And that just is, it made me feel so good because that kid is still who she is. And she may be, she's the next superstar.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke.
But
And you're right about that.
she is still Andrea Carter. I mean, she runs up. She used to love when I'd have my back turned, run and jump up on my back and try to break my back. Now it really hurts when I'm older. But, she's still that type of kid.
Well, Coach, have you done any research on the teams, the high school football games we're about to pick here?
Listen, I shouldn't even talk to Jeff Hart because you know what? When he talked me into doing this, he's like, "Oh, Gene, don't worry about it. I'll send you some teams and everything else." I only heard from him about 15 minutes ago. So, like I said,
You didn't send him any teams?
Now, Coach, in my defense,
yes.
Bo usually sends all that stuff out to everybody.
Welcome
I
to
just
our
assumed he
world.
was doing his job.
You told him you would send him teams and didn't?
No, I said we will. I said we'll send you some.
I want to see that text message.
I'm a stand-up guy. I'll take the heat. It's my fault, Coach.
Well, Jeff, it's because you got to stand up. Otherwise,
he set me up for failure right now, man. He's trying to get me on here and set me up for failure. But you know what? I've been put in these situations before. Hey, I'll come out of it some way.
There we go.
All right,
He's not setting you up to fail. He's forgetful. Welcome to our world.
What? What were we talking about? I missed that. What was that?
Huh?
what?
All right, let's start at the top here. And
Stung by a bee.
got lost at sea. Cherokee Bluff at West Hall. The order, actually, I need to set the order up, by the way.
What?
So the pick order today is Caleb, Seth, myself, Coach, Walker, and Jeff. So there is the pick
yes.
order.
Finally, I get to go
Caleb,
last.
Seth, myself, Coach, Walker, and Jeff. So we're going to start, Caleb, with the Bluff at West Hall game.
This is a very important game for both teams. I was a little surprised this didn't make the conversation.
It almost did.
But I am going to go with the Bears on the road here.
Yeah, give me Cherokee Bluff in this one. They've really impressed me this year.
Give me the Bears.
I think the Bears will win.
Yeah, Cherokee Bluff didn't have to play last week, which allows them to continue to get healthy. Now it's going to be a tough stretch down the way now that you have to play Oconee County in what was supposed to be your bye. I still think Cherokee Bluff has enough to slow down Elijah Hayes in this.
I'm going to go with Bluff. I would like to see West Hall really make a game of this, but Bears are playing pretty well.
By the way, got to make that grueling 8-minute drive across South Hall County for this road game.
Grueling. Next on the list is Clark Central at Hab Central.
I'm going to go with the Gladiators. I just don't know that Habersham Central's defense will be able to hold up enough in this one.
I'm going to have to agree with that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Clark Central in this one.
From my dealings with both of them being in our region for, in the past years and what I've kind of seen, I'm going to have to go with the Gladiators too on this one.
I just, like you said, Caleb, I just don't know that Habersham Central can slow down Clark Central enough. I don't have any doubt that they can score points. We saw that this past week.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know that they can stop Clark Central from scoring one more touchdown.
Should we call
So I'm
this
going to take the Glads.
Should we call this the Central Bowl? The Central Cup?
Do not make me use this button again.
Do it.
I've used
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
What?
Not good. Not good.
Not good. Keep fishing.
I wasn't even trying to make a joke.
Jeff, before I think you could Seth,
Hold on,
you could
wait,
get
that
the
was
prices
completely serious?
Yeah.
Get,
I was just making
get
an
the prices
observation.
right
That makes
there.
it better. That
That's
makes
like
it
that-
even better.
Hey,
like
Seth,
that Banks County
you
pig.
can mix it up. You could get the prices right loser horn to mix it up.
I could.
every
Oh,
now and
that
again.
would be a good one.
I mean, I do have your little classic. I got that guy.
Nah.
All right, who you got, Jeff?
I'm going to go with the Gladiators. The defense concerns me for Habersham.
Denmark at North Forsyth.
Whew, this is a tough one.
But is it?
Give me North Forsyth.
Yeah, North Forsyth.
Yeah, give me Nofo.
I'll take North Forsyth also on that.
I think the running game for North Forsyth and Raider Valley is enough to get them through this one. I think Denmark has the ability to play that type of ball game, but I think North Forsyth more physical, and so the Raiders get a close one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Nofo also.
East Jackson at Franklin County.
It's a good game. I think this could be a good game. Franklin County's improved. I'm going to take
Franklin County's mascot?
the Lions.
They're the Lions.
Yeah. What kind of Lions? Nobody? That's
Does
the
it
thing
matter?
they do. East Jackson.
East Jackson as well.
Give me East Jackson.
I think I did a little research on this game, but I think East Jackson's going to be the better team.
Seth, Caleb, do we want to do it?
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Give me East Jackson.
I don't even think Eagles make a noise, do they?
No,
They
as about to say, wasn't
They
it
make-
Caleb
yeah.
that filled us in on that
Yeah,
fact that all
that-
of the screeching noises that you
It's
hear
more of a hawk.
are hawks.
Yeah.
They're either
Hawks
hawks
are the
or
only
falcons,
birds of
and-
prey
So
that
the-
make that impressive screech sound. They
So
all
the
the rest
Eagles
of
are
them just chirp.
they're the silent
That
assassins.
them and Bo Wilson.
They're the silent Eagles are silent killers. Then
You
Is that
got
what you're
Jeff.
saying?
It's a
You have
crow.
no idea they're
Has
coming.
anybody else called that out? That Bo's making a crow sound. Like he's not making.
I'm
an
going to
eagle
buck the
screech.
trend here, and I'm going to go with Franklin. I really like East Jackson, but I'm not sure what's going on. I was really shocked at that. I know he runs really good, but 66-7, that really surprised me. And Franklin's much improved this year. I'm going to go with the Lions. That's probably an upset, but I'm going to go with the Lions at home. They're at home.
This
I
one,
can't stand that cannon.
this is a interesting Region 8 3A game here. Jefferson at Monroe area.
Yeah, give me Monroe area's defense just looks suspect lately. I'm going Jefferson.
It's right in my button mashing. It's my turn. Jefferson as well.
Yeah, this one, I know Monroe area's got the athletes. Jefferson's got them as well. This one on the road for the Dragons, but I think they handle business. Give me the Dragons.
I'll definitely have to take the Dragons. I think that, like I said, they have really built into a powerhouse around here, and I think they'll be ready for the challenge.
Yeah, give me
This game
I'm sorry, Walker. My bad. Go ahead.
I mean, it's my turn before you, Jeff. You said you wanted to pick last.
I did. I forgot.
Here's
It's okay.
something.
This game being down in Monroe, I think gives Monroe area an edge, but I think Jefferson's physicality, Rhett Hemphill is going to have to get going. Take the Dragons, but very, very close, maybe last possession.
I do think I don't see a game like West Hall last week. I think Monroe has a little more balance, firepower, but I'm convinced now on that Jefferson defense and that front seven. They're stout. Give me the Dragons.
Lakeview at Bethlehem Christian. We had this in the conversation a little while ago, Caleb.
I want Lakeview to win, but I'm going to take Bethlehem Christian in this one.
I'm going to reiterate my joke earlier and say that Chiari is indeed the key, and I'm liking this Lakeview team. I'm going to take them.
2 times.
Do I need to hit the button on myself?
2 times.
Yeah, hit the button on
Much worse
yourself.
than
There
what
you
I
go.
did earlier.
Please. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Although he is the key. Give me Lakeview in this one.
I'll just slowly. I'll take my mic.
I heard y'all talking on this one, and I tell you what, I'm going to go with Bethlehem because you can't go against where Christ was born. So guess what? We're going to go to Bethlehem.
Gosh,
Good
that's
point,
such a good
Coach.
argument.
Yeah.
Coach. It's such a good argument.
Change my pick.
You know, I think
It's better than
And
what
I'm-
I said. 100%.
this bit me in the George Walton game. I had George Walton winning because of the roster size over Lakeview. Lakeview proved me wrong there. I think Bethlehem's roster better, though, than George Walton's. I think Lakeview scores their points. I think Lakeview makes this a game into the fourth quarter. I think Bethlehem has just a little bit too much. Hope Lakeview wins. Hope I'm wrong on this, but I'm going to side with Caleb on this.
I feel the exact same way. I would really love Lakeview. I mean, there's a lot riding on this game. It'll be a program record in wins in the season if they can get one more.
They're going to set that anyway.
I
but
think they will, but
Yeah.
what a way to get it in a game where you can almost also take control in the region. But I did talk to Coach at Bethlehem. They have some depth on the line. You've got Zeke Clanton running the ball. If nothing else, maybe they can control the time that Lakeview gets the ball. I'm going to go with Bethlehem, but I do see Lakeview scoring some points, and I see this going deep into the fourth quarter. But I'm going to take Bethlehem in that running game.
Oconee County at East Hall. Another intriguing 8-3A matchup. somewhat.
I'm gonna go Oconee County.
Oconee as well.
Oconee County. Gosh.
You okay over there?
My friend and buddy over there, Kurt Miller's done a great job at Oconee County, so I'm going to have to go with Oconee County.
I have to keep the bet up, right?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Give me East Hall and Twitter.
Oh. What's that?
Oh, here we go.
What's that Twitter handle there again, Walker?
They know where to find me.
They will.
Underrated rivalry.
I was about to say,
Oconee County.
I put all
This
our
is
socials and they'll
honestly
find
what I
it.
think. Like, it's not just about keeping up the bit here. I think East Hall has a lot of momentum coming out of that Monroe area game. I think that offense in Rabbit Town at home, I have to think that they've got some things clicking in the right direction. Monroe area is just as physical as Oconee County in terms of their front seven, and East Hall moved the ball pretty well in the second half against them. I think if they can find a way to put 4 quarters together, Jeff, I like the Vikings at home.
Look, I can't argue against any of that. I think that's very sound reasoning. I mean, you got to be encouraged by if you're East Hall, by, what they're doing. But at some point in time, you cannot give up 48 points every game and expect to win. I mean, you can have a great offense, score 35, 40 points, but if you're giving up 48, and I still am not. I need to see more from East Hall on defense. I would love to see them win this game at home. I do think it's going to be close. But I'm going to go with Oconee. They're more established, and they play better defense. That's where I'm going to go with that. So,
Rabun County at Commerce.
Ooh, boy.
You got.
I'm looking at the momentum of both teams.
Yep.
Like I said earlier, I think Commerce is playing their best ball right now. I think Rabun is still kind of trying to get all 4 wheels turning without wobbling at the same time. I like Commerce in this one at home.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Wait, I thought you were going with Rabun for a minute.
I like Commerce in this one.
Yeah, give me Commerce.
This is going to be a tough one. I think I was listening to y'all talk about it, and like I said, I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go Rabun County.
I think Jakari Huff, the biggest key in this game, if he's able to have a day where he gets out in the open and is able to get some big runs and chunk plays, Commerce wins this game. It's at Commerce. Commerce makes it 2 in a row over Rabun County.
There are so many dynamics. I was at this game last year at Tiger Stadium. It was truly one of the best games of the year. Rabun County held their own against that offense, and that was with, Jaden Daniels at the tailback spot, popping off 300-yard games a game. But now he's moved to quarterback. I don't know. The defense at Rabun is still good. I mean, it is very good, and they could have and maybe should have won this game last year. I do. But Caleb, you said getting the wheel. I think they figured it. I'm going to go with Rabun this time. I think they've got some revenge. They got some revenge going on.
Revenge matters. Remember, Rabun. What was it? Was it 9 straight region titles
Something like
they
that.
won, and Commerce snapped that?
I don't think
year.
there's anybody out there honestly thinking Rabun can win this game without Ty Truelove. But they've won 4 straight. They've learned how to win without him. The defense is still good, and that as good as the Commerce offense is, and it's gotten better this year, but they could have won this game last year. But they needed everything they got from Ty Truelove last year. But I still think Rabun's in this game. I think their defense might actually be the difference in this. I mean, they've forced 2-3 turnovers a game almost so far this season. So I think that's going to be a huge factor. I'm going to go with Rabun in an upset, but I think the revenge factor. I think they have a lot to come in and play for in this.
Secondaire at Gainesville.
Give me Gainesville.
Give me Gainesville as well. Also, I'm going to institute a new thing. I'm going to bring some dimes. He said dynamics instead of dynamics, and I mean, you messed up earlier. So
I said Lambo.
Yeah, so we're going to start calling those 10-cent words, and I'm going to throw a dime at you every time you mess up.
Throw a dime?
Yeah.
I already have enough physical problems as it is. Now you want to hit me with metal objects.
Yes.
Give me Gainesville, Coach.
I'll take the Red Elephants. Like I said, they're stomping around this year.
I think this game could be interesting until halftime. I think Seconder is playing some good ball with Coach Lottie down there.
Except for last week.
Gainesville, I think, has way too much in the second half.
Oh, yeah. Give me Gainesville on this. Love Coach Lottie, but Yeah, just too much.
Union County has a shot to be 2-0 this week, guys. 2-0
in 1 week.
In 1 week, they travel to Ringgold.
Hey, coaches talk about going 1-0 every week.
That's right.
That's not good enough for Union County. They got to go 2-0 this week. Man, though, at Ringgold. Ringgold's good. And they had Rockmart and North Cobb Christian on the ropes and just barely lost both of those games. That's a good Ringgold team. I'm going to go Tigers in that one over Union County. Close, though. Union County is going to give them everything they want in this game, I think.
You know what? I think Union at this point is ready to give them everything they want and a little bit more. I'm going to take Union.
Yeah, this is a tough pick because you look at this game. You know, you could throw out what they've got to go on the road, right? Well, they went to LFO on Monday night, and survived that game.
Should have just stayed there.
Should have just stayed there.
That's
yeah,
a long
just
drive.
Vacation.
That way. Should have just stayed
Northwest
there.
Georgia. Yeah, give me Union County. I think what they're doing right now. I know Ringgold. You talk about what they've done the last couple games against the upper opponents in this region. I'm going to go with Union in this game. Coach?
Well, I'm up from where you got to remember I spent 13 years at Dade County, so I'm familiar with Ringgold. That'll be a tough place to travel to, a tough place to play. I'm going to take the Tigers.
I think
Yeah,
Dade
you
County.
talk about
Yeah, go ahead, Walker. You go ahead, Walker.
you talk about making the road trip to LFO, coming back to Blairsville. Then you make the trip to Ringgold 4 days later, and you have a day less prep on Ringgold because you're preparing for LFO. All of that being said, I agree Union County is going to give them everything they want. I just don't know that 2 road trips in the same week with a day less prep is enough to get past Ringgold. If it were in Blairsville, I think I might have picked Union, but I'm taking Ringgold at home.
All valid points. Here's an interesting look. Ringgold's given up 30 points a game
He
in
said
their last 3
interesting
games.
stat. Here it
Here's
is.
something
There you go. No, well, we don't get to talk about every game, and there are some really good points to be made.
Interesting stat of the show.
I think we should just do. Maybe I should just do that on every game. Let's just start doing that on every game.
about we
No, I
don't?
think I'm just going to take that kazoo at the end and
How
just
about we
put
don't?
it as a
Let's-
hotkey.
give us your
wait
Union-
until you get done with it, and then, or I'm just going to, when you get done with it, I'll just come on and go,
You made the most valid point, Walker, about 2 road trips in like essentially 5 days with less prep. I think that's huge. But there's something about this Union team right now, particularly with Camden Kendrick, and Ringgold's given up 30 points a game in the last month. So I'm going to go with Union. I think they can outscore them. I think that's what's going to happen.
I want to know more about because Coach Durden said he was at Dade County. I think that's like the one county in Northwest Georgia I haven't been to. And how was the travel back then when you were there? Because isn't that weird corner of the state where you almost have to go into Tennessee to get back into Georgia to go to other places in some cases?
You would not believe when I went there to interview, I said, how in the world are you going to Tennessee to come back into Georgia? But let me tell you, I love Dade County. I could go for an hour about what it did to help me in my career, but you're absolutely right. Y'all were talking about 8 minutes up the road on the travel. Our closest region ball game would be an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes. The closest. Because we had to travel to Rome all the time, and our closest was Chattooga. So the travel was brutal. I'm talking about brutal. And so I've been there, and travel does a lot for you.
All right, we've saved this game for last, Coach. We're going to let you pick first because, well, you've seen them a whole lot. Collins Hill at Buford, a big, giant Region 8 6A matchup at Tom Ryden on Friday night. Coach, who you got?
Well, people don't know how close me and App are. We came in here together, and there's nobody that picks on App as much as I do. So, I really want to just pick against him, but I never could. I just do that. But I'd say the first thing is we'd be out coached and everything else. But like I said, I'm going to stay away from that. But Collins Hill's been playing really, really well. Been hearing a lot of things from the coaching staff about them. They're very dangerous. I just think that Buford's got more weapons. I mean, they do. They're still trying to put some things together, but they beat a really good, very athletic, talented Douglas team. Douglas County the other day, and have been battle tested through Milton and all. I think that Buford wins, and I would say by a couple touchdowns.
Caleb?
I'm going to go with Buford, too. Can't argue with it.
Agreed.
Yeah. I would say this is a tough pick, and it kind of a tough pick. We've already talked about the game. That front seven of Collins Hill is really good. But I think Buford gets it done. They're in Tom Ryden Stadium, and there's going to be some Tom Ryden magic on Friday night. So I'll pick the Wolves.
I just love that Buford is getting back to Buford football. More physical, heavy running attack, and getting the play action game going. It's the Buford that I have never picked against. I'm going to continue picking Buford.
I would totally agree. Everything I said in this thing, I feel, Coach, I think you're right. At least 2 touchdowns. I'm taking Buford. But I want to ask you one thing about App, because we've talked about Coach App. We've never seen a coach. We call him in the office the gunslinger, but we wouldn't say that to his face.
Well, you just did if he's
well,
I was
watching
about
the
to say,
show.
Jeff, we're live, and
we're live
you
now.
can't take
But-
that back now.
Because
so.
he's willing to do anything necessary needed to get the fake punt, all the trick plays that he has pulled off in his career.
Swing gate against Benedictine this
Yeah,
year.
I mean, have you ever seen a coach willing to take so many chances in so many big games than Coach App?
Tell you what, App does, in my opinion. He is not scared to put it on his shoulders to win it or lose it. And to me, that's a big time quality in a coach, because he has pulled some stuff. Now, you got to remember, Simpson always had a couple of things he would always pull off too. He's done some stuff and all that, but App's taking it to a new level. And I respect, like I said, Benedictine, that last drive down there, if he don't call that play, they don't win. And he's willing to lose and take the pressure on that. So, I respect that about App. And what was said earlier, I'm glad to see. I think that they are a lot more ground oriented. They're going to hit you in the mouth a little bit more, which I think is really, really big. And I think a lot of times, like I said, that we're back to playing a little bit better Buford football. But App, I got a lot of respect for him, because, like I said, he is not scared as a coach to put it on his shoulders to win or lose.
Hey, exactly right. We've seen it so many times here. Coach, man, we appreciate you joining us today to have the legend on the show with us.
Hey, I always say this. Legend means 2 things. Means I've had great players and I'm really old. So, like I said, that fits me pretty good. I don't know about legend, but like I said, the 2 descriptions I believe in legend there. But hey, I'm telling you now, I like hanging out with this crew. Y'all have a lot of fun. Biggest thing I want, Jeff, I'm putting you in charge, not Bo, you. I want to go back. I want to see how my picks did, man. I want to see how I did against everybody. I'm that competitive. So, by gosh, I want to see how everybody's picks went down, and I want to know who wins.
We'll let you know, and I will tell you, I think based on what you picked, I think you're going to do pretty good. I think you're going to do pretty good.
Like I said, that's without any research.
And
Jeff,
like
I said,
Coach, I will take responsibility for that. I am sorry. So,
you're kicked out of the hospitality room upstairs.
Well done. That means I'm kicked out of the press box. Coach. That means I'm kicked out. Bo, you're going to have to send me to another game. I can't get in the press box because that is the hospitality room.
Well, you can get in the press box. Coach just won't let you eat the food in the press box.
That's really cruel right there. They're going to have all that
You can
food.
look, but you
we
can't
get
touch.
this new stadium up over here, you'll have about 3 or 4 press boxes to get in. It's I tell you what, boy, it's impressive.
I have a feeling I'm going to get my
can't
own
wait to
wing.
see that one.
I'm going to get my own wing far away from most people, aren't I, Coach? Be honest. It's okay.
Right. We'll take care of you.
Well, I appreciate that.
You always do, Coach. We appreciate you, man, and good luck this season. We'll see you soon.
I can't wait. Thank y'all so much. Always fun and an honor to be on there. And anything I ever do, you let me know.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, time to take a break, and on the backside of it, so we're going to get to the Dark Horse Dogs. That's coming up here next on the Pickem Show.
Voice is so good for that. Like nobody else in this room can pull that off like Bo can.
Nope.
Give it to us one more time, Bo.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show. Walker, man, you just jiving back in the office there. Yeah?
You know, Seth's got some great music that he throws behind all of our stuff. I mean, it's hard not to.
Well, thank you very much.
Good stuff, for sure. And welcome to the segment here that we love to call Dark Horse Dogs. We gotta recut that
It's so
crap.
funny when he trips over his words.
I stuttered over that one.
On my life,
word
I'll
was
never
horse.
recut it. I will never recut it.
The
word is horse.
Horse.
Does
Yeah, I was
does
gonna
this
say,
mean
spell
that when
that,
I get the
please.
dimes, and by the way, I am going to collect the dimes
We're gonna
from
collect
our
the dimes.
teams. I'm going to collect the dimes from our teams. So if there are some quarters in there, that just means they want to see me throw quarters at you guys.
Oh, wow.
Here's the dogs order. Walker, Seth, myself, Caleb, and Jeff.
How does the guy in last place get
Why?
the second to last pick?
Why do I get the? I got the last
Look,
pick.
when you run...
You're in the lead. You should get the last pick.
Well, so it's random. Why?
So Walker, Seth, myself, Caleb, and Jeff.
This is the worst
And
random
so Walker,
picking thing ever.
And Walker, what you got? It wasn't
gonna
bad
go-
when we were picking the games earlier. It was, I love being last.
I love being last on that, but I don't like being last on
All right,
the
here you go,
Dark Horse
Walker.
Dog.
Well, there's a lot of games this week. It's not just the ones we picked. It's every game in our area
That's right.
that has the line of 4 points or greater.
Well, there was one
I'm
game
gonna
that
take-
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Caleb.
I was going to say there's one game that did not have a line of 4 points or greater. Does anyone want to guess off the top of their head what that was?
Commerce and Raven.
That was correct. Raven County, 1 point favorite.
Ooh, boy.
I am going to go with East Hall plus 25. I need points to get back into the game. I think East Hall can keep this game really, really close at home. I think they have the chance of winning it. 25 points would look really nice on my total. By the way, Seth, Waxdoll McGee, that's a great name for me this week.
What?
So hey, guess what? I've got them for everyone this week. Except
Whoa,
me.
you do?
Except
Oh,
me.
I'm excited to
Except
watch.
me.
Of course, you don't want to play along.
Well, no, I mean, my name's so bland, I couldn't think of anything.
You
other
could just
than,
use,
other than Sethery.
Sethro.
Okay, that's
Seath.
fair.
You could be Seath.
I don't want to do that. You know, remember when I
Yeah.
got Sith on that
Yes.
cup? Like S-I-T-H,
Yeah, Sith,
like
Sith.
like freaking Star Wars. Someone put Sith on my cup at Zaxby's.
You
when we
can't
were
say
going.
it Sith. It has to be Seath.
But it's
Anyway.
spelled Sith, whatever.
Next pick.
He always...
It is your turn.
Yeah,
Seth.
you always bait me, and I
Seth,
always go for it.
Make your pick.
Oh, goodness.
Too easy.
Yeah, a lot of big numbers this week, guys.
Huge.
A lot of huge numbers this week. Very
Huge.
big.
Huge.
But
Huge.
I am a play it safe guy.
Dad.
I'll double down. Give me Lakeview plus 10.
Okay. That's not a bad pick.
Who's up next? You? Bo?
Yes, it's Bo, Caleb, Jeff.
All right.
He's humming.
There's one I want, and I don't want Bo to take it.
Which one would that be?
I'm not telling you. I wouldn't tell you even if Bo would.
Is there a time limit on this thing? Or what?
Okay, give me... you know what? Give me Hab Central. Was that the
Pat
one?
Central's an 18-point underdog against Clark Central.
I like that.
Was that the
I like
one
that.
you wanted?
Nope. That was not.
Damn it.
Give me.
Hold
Hold on, let me pick which one you're
What's
going to
Bo's
pick.
name? We got to find, but we got to figure out
give me
what
a
Bo's
second.
name is on the bottom.
Wax Doll
Hasn't come
McGee.
up yet. That's me.
Is there any way that we can fast forward this thing?
Sith.
This thing's moving at a centimeter a minute.
Slow.
Sloth
Sloth.
pace.
Wait for
Okay,
it.
I could.
Dogs.
Let's do no. So we can sit here and wait. The audience will love this.
Yes. Wow, the scrolling is...
Wow.
Oh, boo.
Boo. All right. Well, I guess.
Okay, so
Boo.
I'll make my pick, and then we'll find out what my name is sometime before week 9 starts. So we.
Can I guess your pick? Can I guess it?
Guys.
I'm gonna take.
Let me guess it. Let me guess it.
Go for it. Guess it.
Franklin County.
That is
That's
correct.
another dime. You said go for it. What'd you say?
Franklin County plus 16.
Felt it.
There's
Saw that
upset
one
potential there.
That's
I saw that coming.
that was mine.
You're gonna have
I'm
to.
the only one that picked Franklin County.
Gonna have to take your wing.
That's
Caleb.
just,
All right,
I
this time. So it depended on where we landed in the rotation of this thing. So here you go.
Here we go.
It's coming up.
This is
I should have done more O's.
I'm picking under protest now.
Picking under protest.
Yes,
I like
I
that.
Caleb
Calabash.
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 Yeah, but I left your name in there.
Okay.
I'm terrified to see what he has for me.
Yours it's not bad.
It should be.
Wow, thank you.
That was Caleb
quick.
really good.
That was so quick. It was because of how quick it was.
That was so fast.
Well executed.
That was so fast. It was mean.
Who's your dark horse?
Sorry.
I'm working on it. I don't know because you took the one I wanted. Yeah, you're gonna have to go
That's
through the whole
another
song.
sounder I need.
I tell you what. All right, I got nothing to lose with this.
Can I pick it for you?
I'm gonna take Union +7.
Ooh, I thought about that one.
Take Union
I
plus
did.
7.
He's
I
playing
did.
this. He's got the big lead. He's playing safe. He's just handing the ball
Well,
off up the middle.
I don't have enough confidence that Banks, Johnson,
I hope-
Stephen
I hope-
Scholes can score enough.
we-
Jefferson.
Yeah, why didn't you pick Monroe area?
I'm hoping everybody understands that reference.
Because
I got
I
it.
don't.
Okay.
I can see Jefferson just putting the clamps on him.
Hey,
I could see that.
hey, Seath,
Yeah.
your mic's off.
Yeah, I know. I don't. I know.
Roll our music. Let's get out of here.
Wish to participate.
Can I get that
You don't have
option
to
as well?
participate much longer. Just roll
And
the
there it
music
is.
and let's
There it
get
is.
out of
We got to
here.
get out of here.
By the way, Bo, you look really big on TV.
Huge.
I'm sorry.
I've been
It was
working
the
out.
position- It was the position of the camera.
Is that what that
I
is?
work out.
Oh, is that what it is?
yeah.
When Bo walks in.
Speaking of that, I'm
knows
hungry.
it. Bo, yeah. I was about to say, Bo, you do the donut curl. You do the donut curl.
That's right. That's right. So much better than doing a regular
You
curl.
do the
Seafood
donut curl and
Destin.
get tickets
That's
on your way to
what
get them.
So tasty. All right, let's get out of here. Hey, Thursday night quarterback, speaking of Lakeview Bethlehem Christian, Lee Coleman will be on the show with us. That's
what a
coming
good
up
catch.
tomorrow, Thursday. He'll be live in studio, so you'll get to hear from him about the big game. So what's on the tailgate show, Caleb?
We have one this week.
Yeah, we do have one
All
this
right.
week. Hoping to talk to Bryant Appling from Buford about the big Buford Collins Hill game, and we got prizes to give away because we had a week where we didn't give away free stuff, and somebody told me that's a problem. So we
You're
need to
gonna
give away
like
more free
extra-
stuff.
So now
Extra
you got
prizes?
To you got to
Wait.
double up this week.
No, can we have the prizes from last week since we didn't give
no.
away? Oh. Walker, what's on the scoreboard show?
We don't know what's on the
talk to
scoreboard
coaches.
show, Bo.
We're going to talk to coaches. We're going to run down all the scores. It's going to be a
gotta
fun
let
day.
the
Brian
games
Perkle back.
happen.
with
Wait,
us.
Oh, we do have Brian Purple back. That's true.
do you already have the scores?
No.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
we got 3
We're gonna run
games.
down 'em.
I was very concerned. I was like, whoa.
3 games on air. 5:50 is Collins Hill at Buford. 102.9 is Bluff at West Hall. At 94.5, the Lake is Seckinger at Gainesville. And make sure you go to our X page. That's x.com. And at Friday Game Night, as we'll be posting, tweeting, whatever you want to call it, Friday night scores and updates throughout the night. And as well as on the website, we'll have stories, highlights, photos, and more at accesswdun.com. For the entire crew, enjoy week number 8. Dogs.
If it was Twitter and you're tweeting and now it's X, does that mean you're Xing?
No, it's you're posting.
Posting, not X.
Yeah, it's so
I don't understand.
yeah.
Very confusing.
Bye.
Goodbye. I think we're still live, but goodbye.
Nope.
Nope.